Hello, it's Mr. Price, and this is the video on the Year 7 Unit 16 for Orders of Operations. Let's go straight in. So our first question is 32, take away 7, take away 5, subtract 11. Okay, so remember, the order of addition and subtraction can be done in any order. And we start to do these a slightly different way. So it won't be any equal signs at all. We're just going to combine numbers and see what we get in any order we like. So first I'm going to combine this 32 and this negative 7, just because it happens to give me the nicest possible answer. So that's going to give me 25, and I'm left with a negative 5 and a negative 11. Okay. I then combine the next two numbers that make sense. So these two seem to go quite nicely together, a positive 25 and a negative 5. Observe how I'm highlighting the symbol in front of it as well. So that's going to give me 20 and a negative 11. And then finally, these combine to give me 9. No equal signs at all, but that's my answer. Okay, next question. I've got 99 and a positive 16, a negative 25 and a positive 11. So, I'm going to combine the ones that make sense. So these two seem to go quite nicely together. The 99 and the positive 11 gives me 110, on this with positive 16 and a negative 25. I'm now going to combine the next two that make sense. So these two seem to go quite nicely together as well. So on 110 and a negative 25 leaves me with 85, with a positive 16 left over. And then finally, with that, we get 101. Okay, and then finally we have 0.64, might take away 0.25, plus 0.31, and negative 0.7. Okay, so I think these two seem to go the best together, that one and this one, because then I'll have a 5 in my units, in my hundredths column, beg your pardon. So that's going to give me 0.95. Take away 0.25, take away 0.7. Okay. Then I'm going to combine this negative 0.25 and this negative 0.7. So I'm going to still have my 0.95 here, and those combine to give me negative 0.95. And then finally, those combine to give me 0. That's question 1 done. Let's look at question 2. So, 12 times 9 divided by 4. Now, I'm going to rewrite this so I don't have any dividing signs. So, instead I'm going to have 12 times 9 and then divided by 4. Okay, this can be done in any order. So I'm going to first look for any common factors top and bottom. So I spotted that 12 divided by 4 can be done. So I'm going to divide that by 4 to get 1, and divide that by 4 to get 3, and then I'm left with 3 times 9 all divided by 1, so that's going to leave me with 27. Okay, next question. 80 times 9 divided by 10 divided by 3. Now, again, there's a few ways we can do this one until you start getting used to it. For now, because I've got multiple division signs, I'm going to make my life easier and only have multiplication. So I know if I divide by a number, that's the same as multiplying by its reciprocal, the number upside down. So I'm going to do 80 times 9 times 1 over 10 times 1 over 3. Okay, and now I'm going to simplify this. So 80 times 9 and then multiply by the numerators. So that's going to give me 80 times 9 on my numerator. And then my denominators are just 10 and 3. So it's going to be 10 times 3 at the bottom. Okay. Now I've made it a bit tidier, I can start to look for common factors. So here we are. We've got a common factor here of 10. So that's going to become 8. And I've got a common factor here of 3. So that becomes 3 and 1. So I'm left with 1s on my denominator and 8s and 3 on my numerator. So that becomes 24. Okay. And then the final question. 80 divided by 10 divided by 3 times 9. So once again, I'm going to turn these dividing signs into multiplying the reciprocal. So that's going to be 80 times 1 over 10 times 1 over 3 times 9. And now I can turn this without any division or multiplication signs. So this is going to become 80 times 1 times 1 times 9. And then on my denominators, I've just got 10 and 3. Okay, so look for common factors again. And actually, I'm starting to spot that this looks like exactly the same question as I did before. So that's 8 and 1. And then 3 and 1. So actually, it's exactly the same question. It just looks a little bit different. And that shows that the order of multiplication and division can be done in any order. Okay, let's look at question 3. Evaluate the following. So 4 lots of 5 plus 2. Okay, so first I'm going to work out what's inside the brackets. I'm going to do it step by step. So inside the brackets I get 5 plus 2, which is 7. That's going to stay in the brackets, and then I'm going to put the 4 where it came from. Now, there may not be a sign between these numbers, but whenever that's the case, there's an invisible multiplication sign. So this means 4 lots of 7, so that leaves me with 28. Okay, again, no equal signs, just one after the other. Next question, 11 lots of 9 subtract 12. Okay, so inside the bracket first, so 9 take away 12 gives me negative 3. And then 11 outside. Now, apologies, we weren't really meant to be dealing with negative numbers here, but that was my mistake when I put that on your homework. Okay, the next question, 3 plus 7 take away 4, all over 2 times 2. Now, here we need to be a little bit careful in that because this sum at the top of my fraction is all being divided by something else, there are invisible brackets here. So I must do the sum on the top first. So 3 plus 7 is 10, take away 4 is 6. So I'm going to get 6 on my numerator, all over, and then 2 times 2 gives me 4. And now I can simplify this, so divide top and bottom by 2. So I get 3 over 2. And if you prefer, you can convert that into 1.5. Okay, and now the final question for part 3 is 3 times 5 plus 9 all over 7 minus 3 all over 3. Now, it's rare to see this, but it's important that we recognise what's going on here. Okay, so this whole fraction here I can say is being divided by 3. So just to help me make heads or tails of it, I'm going to temporarily use a dividing sign. Okay. Then I know dividing by a whole number is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. So I can change that to multiply by a third. And now I'm going to calculate these two bits separately for the moment. Okay. So let's see. There's invisible brackets in here. And there are invisible brackets here. So let's look at the top of my fraction first. So multiplying happens first, so 3 times 5 is 15, and I add that to 9, so I'm going to get 24 on my denominator, and then 7 take away 3 is 4 here, and I multiply this by a third. Okay. Then I know that I multiply the tops and the bottoms, so that's going to give me 24 over 4 times 3. Okay, I've got common factor here. So that becomes 1, and that becomes 6. and I've got another factor here, so divide those by 3, so that becomes 2 and 1, so my answer becomes 2. Okay, really good job if you had a good stab at that question. Hopefully with that explanation it makes a little bit more sense. It's rare to see a question like that, but it is important you can deal with it if it does happen. Okay, and now the final question was working with this triangle here. So the question's asked me to do it all in one big equation. So that's what I'm going to do. So I know to work out the area of a triangle, let's work out the area of the whole triangle first. It would be 8 times 12 divided by 2. Yep, because it's the base times the height divided by 2. So that gives me the area of this whole triangle here. Now, because this corner goes to the halfway point of this line, it's cut the triangle in half. So to work out the area of that piece here that I'm showing, that's going to be half the triangle. So I'm going to multiply this by a half, all dividing by 2. That's going to go on the bottom of my fraction. So now I've got the area of this piece. I then want to spot that actually this has been split into 3 equal pieces. So then I'm going to find a third of my answer, or divide by 3. So that means multiply my denominator by 3. Okay, and this will give me, if I worked out this answer, the whole, the area of my final answer. So let's do this now. I'm going to look for common factors. So that and that becomes 4 and 1. This and this will become 6 and 1. And then that and that becomes 2. So my answer becomes 4 times 2, all divided by 1. So that's going to become 8 centimeters squared. And that is the whole video finished. Thank you very much.